Hey guys, welcome back and happy Wednesday. It's time to make a salad. So we've got 2 heads of green leaf lettuce all chopped up along with 2 little heads of baby bok choy. In the bowl soaking here we've got 1 pint of cherry tomatoes, 1 cucumber, a handful of cilantro, and 1 handful of walnuts. So that's all soaking. Over here for the base of the dressing we are going to have 3 oranges, we've got 2 stalks of celery, and 1 medjool date. I've also got soaking here that's going to go into the dressing, 1/3 cup of sunflower seeds. Also we're going to top it with some kelp sprinkles or kelp granules, a little iodine there, and I think I'll put in just a splash of apple cider vinegar. So that is what we got going on in the kitchen tonight. Let's get going. Alright guys, there is my salad for tonight. Looks pretty good. In the dressing, I added 1 clove of garlic that I didn't record. So if you want your dressing to be just like mine, be sure to add a clove of garlic in there. And if you haven't noticed, we're in the mukbang studio. So we're going to do a mukbang here. I'm going to answer some of your questions that you've been asking me. And so yeah, let's do it while I eat my salad. Take a quick bite here for you. It's good. When you're making salads with oranges though, try and find the sweetest oranges that you can find. So, Mineolas are really good. They're like a tangerine almost, or a mandarin, and they're really sweet, so they make the dressing so good. These are actually Valencias that I used, and they're not quite as flavorful, so the dressing is not quite as awesome, but it's still good. But I really like to use the really sweet oranges when I make dressings, or just when I eat in general, oranges. So anyways, the first question here comes from Nicole, and her question is, how long have you been raw, and how long did it take your palate to change so you could tolerate the bitter greens? The bitter greens, like dandelion. That was in my smoothie a few videos ago, a week or 2 ago. And yeah, it definitely does take time for your palate to change, to adjust to more natural flavored foods. So everybody is so hopped up on salt, sugar, and fat, MSG, and whatever else they're putting in these food-like products that everybody likes to eat. And so in order for us to really get back down to a normal level, it's going to take a little bit of time. And for me, I don't remember exactly how long it's been, and my entire life, even before I got into this lifestyle, I was kind of the person that would, even if I thought something was healthy for me, because I still was aiming to be healthy. Whatever I was doing, even though my diet and lifestyle weren't really healthy, in that realm, in that paradigm, I was trying to be as healthy as I could. So I would eat things, even if they didn't really taste that great to me, just because I thought they were healthy. And so, you know, I've always kind of been able to eat things like bitter greens and other, you know, more bitter things. So I would say, you know, for the majority of people, it'll take maybe, you know, 3 to 6 months for you to really start to notice a change. And what I did was I did a juice fast for 10 days. I did a 10-day juice fast in the very beginning of this lifestyle, and it wasn't necessarily to change my palate or to, you know, really do anything in particular. I was just, you know, I heard about juice fasting. It sounded like a good idea. You know, I really resonated with it. And so I gave it a try just because it sounded like it could help me to get healthy or healthier. You know, I thought I was pretty healthy at that time even. So yeah, and I did that, and in those 10 days, I already noticed a difference. I was feeling so good. My mind was so much clearer. You know, my thoughts were much more positive, and I wasn't as congested. You know, I was losing a lot of mucus, and it was awesome. And I would never discourage anybody from juice fasting because it helped me so much, and it continues to help me. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in, you know, probably a year ago, I started to get a sebaceous cyst on my temple, and I didn't know what it was coming from. You know, I was under quite a bit of stress, so I thought it had to do with stress. But even after I kind of calmed down, you know, I got a little more balanced emotionally, it wasn't going away. And I swear I had it for, you know, it was more than a year ago, because I had it for like a year. And it wasn't until I did my 35-day juice fast not too long ago, and now it's gone. So the juice fast helped me to clear out this lump that was on the side of my head. So if you go back like a year and watch some of my videos, you'll see that right over on my right temple, there's a lump. So now it's not here, you know, can't even feel it. So it's, you know, there's a good example of how juice fasting can be beneficial. All right, so there are people out there that don't believe juice fasting is healthy. They don't think fasting in general is healthy. And these people just don't understand the true nature of the body. And when you let the body rest, the body is going to start to clean house. All right, so digestion is a super energy demanding process. And when we're constantly shoving in food 3 to 5 times a day, the body is always focused on digestion and removing toxins that are being produced from the junk foods that we eat. And even the people that are eating raw vegan diets, the body still has to put a ton of energy into breaking down the foods, utilizing them, you know, absorbing them, utilizing them, and eliminating them. So, you know, it's obviously on raw foods, the energy demand isn't as much, but it's still there. So to really hone in on your healing, you really want to give the body as little digestive work as possible. And then things like that can, you know, go away. And other chronic issues and whatever, you know, whatever you got going on, definitely can help by looking into and studying the practice of fasting. But anyways, back to my answer here. Like I said, you can do a juice fast, you can just start eating raw foods, and eventually your palate will change. It's different for everybody, so I can't really say one, you know, cookie cutter answer. But for me, it was probably where it really changed. I would guess like 3 to 6 months, something like that. Okay, next question. It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. It's, I want to know how to make tahini. So a little while back, I made homemade tahini, delicious and about half the price of what you would buy in the store. And you know what's in it. So that is another big benefit to making your own tahini or any nut butter. If you're into nut butters, anything you can buy in the store, look up how to make it and just make it at home. It's so much fresher. You know exactly what went into it. You can put your own love into it. Your own positive energy goes into the food as you make it. So be positive, be happy when you're making the food, and that will in turn hopefully help you out internally. All right, so tahini, if you guys want to see me do a tahini demonstration on how to make it in the Vitamix, leave a comment below or give me a thumbs up, and I will be sure to do that because I'm actually running low on my tahini right now. So I'll probably have to make another batch, and if you want me to film it, just let me know. Ooh. Here's a good question. This is probably the most asked question I've gotten in the last couple months. Does anyone know what happened to Miss Stacy's channel? No, I don't. I wish I did. I've tried to find a way to contact her. I don't know how. And, you know, I have no idea. She didn't say anything. She didn't give any warning. And her channel is gone. Yeah, I mean, definitely I want to know this as well. But I can't seem to find anything yet. So if I do find anything out, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Here's a question from Healthy Hoosier. Have you ever tried intermittent fasting with an 8-hour eating window? I'm currently experimenting with this right now. I think I like it better than fasting once or twice a week, but not completely sold on it yet. I've never had a problem with restricting calories and actually feel more energetic. Yeah, me too. When I eat less, I feel much more energetic. And actually, the days that I have gone 24 hours of fasting, the next morning, I have the best workouts that I have. You know, I have more energy, I have more stamina, I can go longer. It's great. So, yes, I am a fan of intermittent fasting. Typically, I try to, well, I don't even try. I just kind of just normally eat my first meal of the day around 10 or 11 o'clock. And then I will not eat until, or I won't eat past 7, maybe 8 o'clock, but usually 7 is my goal for not eating afterwards. Remember, we are also creatures of habit. So we get into a rhythm, and whether it's a good habit or a bad habit, our body starts to adjust and wants to stick with that. So that is another issue that people have for overeating. So intermittent fasting can be a good way to help to improve those habits. All right, so I am a fan of intermittent fasting, but I am a fan more of listening to your body. All right, so once you have gotten to the point where you don't have to force yourself to intermittent fast, you can start to listen to the true signs that your body is giving you, and then you really don't even have to consciously think about what time it is when you're going to eat. You really just go by the feel of your body, and when it tells you that it wants you to eat, you know, you follow it. All right, next question is, do I take B12 supplements? I don't really take any supplements at this point in my journey of raw foods and health. I'm not 100% against it, but I just haven't really felt the need to do it. Now that being said, I have taken B12 supplements sporadically in, you know, the first few years of getting into this lifestyle. I used to be pretty big into taking supplements and taking powders and all those things, but I've gotten more into just whole food, plant-based, you know, no supplements, none of that stuff. But if you feel that you need to take a supplement or that it's going to be beneficial for you, then by all means, you know, do what you feel is best for you. For me, I just haven't felt the need to. But I am going to be taking a B12 test, the UMMA test, to determine what my levels are. So if I find that I'm really low in B12, you know, I might end up taking a supplement. Sounds like there can be some pretty serious consequences if you do not have adequate amounts of B12. So definitely something to be aware of. Not, you know, don't mess around with it, but, you know, do what you feel is best. So when I get my test done, I will be sure to let you know what the results were. And if I do end up deciding that I want to start taking a B12 supplement, I'll tell you which one I take and why. So we'll see what happens. Next question is, do I eat any cooked food? I'm a meat eater. I'm not a meat eater, but this question says I'm a meat eater. But I'm trying to introduce more fruits and vegetables without being overwhelmed by going completely raw right away. For example, I'm avoiding soda like the plague. What are some of the changes you made when you first started, and how did your body react? Great question. I think this is something that people really struggle with, and they feel like they have to go 100% overnight, or at least, you know, really quickly, or, you know, they're not gonna succeed. The best way that I feel to go about transitioning into this lifestyle is at a comfortable pace. You know, you don't want to go too comfortable. You want to push yourself a little bit, but not to the point where you're too stressed out and you just burn out and you don't want to keep doing it. So my transition was probably between a year and a half before I got really settled in to the raw food sort of diet. So the first part of that question was, do I eat any cooked food? And yeah, even still today, I will, every once in a while, I will have some steamed broccoli and steamed mushrooms, and I'll put that into my zucchini pasta. So everything else in my dish is raw, but sometimes I like to add some steamed broccoli and steamed mushrooms into my zucchini pastas, and it's, you know, I really enjoy that. So it's obviously a compromise that I'm willing to make for the pleasure of eating those foods. Now, do I think it's bad to eat those foods or eat any cooked foods? You know, you have to determine that for yourself and what your goals are. You gotta be honest with yourself, and you just have to trust yourself that whatever you decide, you're going to learn from, and you can evolve from there. You can make better decisions as you learn more. So don't be afraid of trying different things. You know, I personally feel that 100% raw is the optimal diet, and that is what we should strive for. That is what I want to strive for. So the steamed broccoli and mushrooms are pretty much it for what I include into my diet as far as cooked foods. Alright guys, last couple questions here. It's one post, but it has multiple questions. So it says, I have a few questions that I hope you don't mind answering. Have you tried getting rid of cold sores for good, like eliminating the virus completely? How much fruit do you eat per day approximately? And lastly, where do you buy your fruit from? Great questions. The cold sore issue I do talk about in my video. I believe it's my top 10 benefits of a raw food diet video. So check that video for a little more explanation on this. Do I think that you can eliminate it completely? Yeah, according to Dr. Robert Morse, you can completely detox it out of your system. For me, so I started getting them in college, and I was getting them like once every couple months at least. It was an issue for me. And it wasn't until I got pretty close to 100% raw that they went away, and I just stopped getting them. And so when I went back to eating a little more cooked foods as an experiment a few winters ago, they started coming back again. So that was my clue that raw foods were the most alkalizing and healing and just the best way to just let the body do whatever it needs to do to be healthy. And that's eating raw, mostly, if not all, raw foods. You know, as far as completely getting rid of the virus, I do think that it's possible, but I think it would take a lot more fasting and just some really tough grinding work to really get rid of that. So maybe one day I will do that, but at this point, you know, I'm pretty happy with just not having to deal with it. I don't even think about it anymore, so it's great. Your next question, have I, let's see. How much fruit do I eat per day approximately? So really it's different every single day, but my first meal and my second meal are usually always going to be fruit. And I will, you know, it depends. It could be 10 bananas, it could be a half of a watermelon, it could be 2 papayas, it could be 2 cantaloupe, it could be, you know, anything like that until I'm satisfied. So every day my satisfaction level is, you know, it requires a different amount based on my stress levels, based on my activity levels, based on how much I slept. You know, there's so many things that go into what makes us hungry. And so that, you know, you just gotta go by what your body feels, eat till you're satisfied, and you should be good. And that's what I do. During the summertime, spring, summer, and early fall, I'll get a lot of my produce from farmers markets, and we have some amazing local farmers here in Minnesota. And so they're growing a lot of great greens and vegetables. I wish, you know, we were in a more tropical climate where we had local fresh grown fruits, but most of that unfortunately is shipped in. But yeah, so farmers markets, co-ops, we have a great co-op here, and natural grocers. That's a great grocery store. If you, I'm not sure, you know, how spread out they are throughout the country, but yeah, natural grocers, they're all 100% certified organic as far as their produce, which is really nice. And then, you know, I go to regular grocery stores like Hy-Vee. That's a Midwest grocery store chain. It's a really good store. And yeah, that's about it, really. Hy-Vee, natural grocers, the co-op, the farmers markets, and growing my own if I can. So, yep, that's where I get my fruits and vegetables. And that is the last question of this Q&A mukbang. So, and I might be saying it wrong. I think somebody corrected me on how I said it. Mukbang, mukbang, I don't know. Whatever. I'm answering questions and I'm eating a salad. So that is my video for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my answers gave you a little more clarity. I hope maybe you learned something. So yeah, that's all we got, guys. I will see you tomorrow, I hope. And until then, always follow your raw intuition.
Detoxify your mind and body. Be the change you want to see. Small steps towards living better. Small steps to where I want to be.